and I, we built a retaining wall, 60 foot long, 4 foot high, and it was great. We did a great job. I think we finished it in 12 days. I'm putting in wooden floors, and I finished one room, and I still have 2 more rooms and the stairs to do. And you have to have the right tools to do that. But if you do, it's just a matter of learning, patience, and putting in the work, doing the job. So these are some of the things that I have learned from life, and I wish I'd known some of these when I was younger. I wish somebody had sat me down and told me things. I was not really told about a lot of practical living. One of the other things I did learn that a lot of people haven't learned is that sometimes we have our own opinions that differ from the crowd. And I've noticed a lot of people will not vary from the crowd. If they have an opinion that's different, they will not voice it. And I remember when the movie The English Patient came out. It was the headline of the Time magazine, the greatest romance in 10 years. It'll win an Oscar. And it did win the Oscar. And I watched it, and I hated it. It was boring. This guy was dying, and he just kept going on and on telling stories. It was supposed to be a romance, but the chemistry was awful. There was no chemistry at all. Anybody that has had a good relationship will recognize that right away. And I hated it. And people would ask about it, and they'd say, that hadn't seen it, they'd say, "Oh, well, it's supposed to be the greatest romance. How could you possibly not like it?" I said, "Well, I don't like it, and this is why." And they just scoff at me. And although some of them later came back and said, "Oh, you were right. It's not that good of a movie." But I still felt bad. I felt inadequate because it did turn out to have won the Oscar, and I felt bad about differing from the crowd. But then later, the Seinfeld episode with Elaine, her boss insisted she had to go with him to see The English Patient, and she didn't want to go, and she kept coming up with excuses, and I believe he said he was going to fire her if she didn't go, and she finally just blurted out. She said, "I hated that movie. I just kept thinking, just die already, just die already." And I thought, wow, I'm finally vindicated. Thank God. And the same thing happened later on. I saw the play here in Pittsburgh called The Book of Mormon, which had won 7 Tonys. It was a great play, and musical. And I hated it. It was not original. It was not creative. It was disrespectful of most religions. It was juvenile in its script and its supposed morals. And again, virtually everyone I talked to, they said, "Oh, that was one of my favorite musicals, and how could you not like it?" And finally, I met an intelligent, actually he was a reporter, ex-reporter for the the Wall Street Journal and the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and he said that musical is reprehensible, and I thought that well summarized my feelings as well. So these are lessons that I have learned that I wish I had been taught when I was younger, and I wasn't. And I made it through okay. I had a good career, good successful career. I won a lot of cases. I did a lot of trials. I won a lot of litigation based on motions for summary judgment, motions to dismiss. And I was writing briefs 20 pages long, and I was good at it. And that's satisfying. It's very satisfying. But it took work. It's not something that comes easy. It's something you have to work at, and it's almost like you have an apprenticeship period where it's difficult. And when you get older, there's always people have regrets about this and that, and for some people that causes depression, but it's an evolutionary necessity, because if you make mistakes, you may not live if you keep making those mistakes. So we dwell or we think about our mistakes or errors, and if we are aware, we change our behavior and prevent that from happening in the future, if we can. So that is my video on education, learning, and life lessons. I hope that someone finds it to be helpful.